What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Listen, I just want to go ahead and get into it real quick. And I'm doing this for the second time. So that's one of the reasons why this is a little bit more delayed than I had hoped. But it is what it is. I did this yesterday. And apparently, StreamYard does not like when I share audio clips of this particular Bravo show for some reason because this happened to me before. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Now, it may not be really about Married to Medicine. It's probably something that I'm doing, and I wouldn't be surprised, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to do this all over. I started to just edit it and take out the blank spots, but I said, you know what? F it. I'll just go ahead and re record it because my thoughts have not changed. I watched the most recent episode of Married to Medicine on Monday, and I was just disgusted with Quad. I made it a point, and I still haven't because I want to get my thoughts out before I listen to or read comments, other people's thoughts about what happened on Sunday's episode of Married to Medicine because I don't want it to be. mm, I don't want anyone's feelings to mix with mine, or I just want it to be unfiltered and not listen to what anyone else has to say and say, oh, you know what? I never thought about it in that way. So let me edit what I said previously or thought previously. No, my thoughts are my thoughts. I felt like Quad was a drunken mess, but it was absolutely what she was feeling. If you caught it, she didn't even say Greg's last name like correctly. So she clearly was sloshed. I mean, clearly she wasn't saying Lunsford, like his last name is Lunsford. What she said something like Lansford or something, something like that. But I don't care how much Quad wants to convince the viewing audience that Greg was abusive, physically abusive to her in that marriage. And I'm not here caping for any man or caping for any guy to treat women any type of way. That's not what I'm doing. I'm definitely not a pick me or whatever the terms are that people like to use for female friendly, well, females who are male friendly in their opinions always. No, I just try my best to be on the side of right. And I stand on this. I don't believe that if Greg was physically abusive to her, that she would be on the show with him. And yeah, people may say, well, she stayed on the show and he just came back last season. Well, if she was on the show all of this time, and they decided to bring him back. If she has all of this leverage, one, why would she say, "Well, look, it's either him or me"? And they said, "Well, no, we're definitely bringing him on with his new wife because we want to watch what happens," like they say on Bravo. So you either take it or leave it. And she decided to take it because she needed or wanted or all of the above the check. Then he must not have been that bad because I don't know any woman in their right mind who has been in an abusive relationship with a man that wants to be around them, even if it's for work. And I'm not talking about in her situation because she claims she's living so fabulously and she lives a life that people would envy, right? That's what she said out of her mouth. So you don't need that check that bad. So I'm not talking about a situation where some chick really has no choice, no alternatives, and they're just doing what they can until they can get out of the situation. I'm not talking about that. Quad never loved that man. She used Greg as a stepping stool to get to a more desired place in life that she wanted to be. And that's why she was with him. She got on the show because of her marriage to Greg and because of her then friendship with Mariah. That's it. And I don't I don't disagree with what Toya said. Toya could be messy and all of that stuff. And I didn't even like her in the beginning at all. But she's grown on me and I definitely do like her. Do I like everything that she says and does? No. But I mean, who does for anyone? But I'm saying she made some good points, whether Letitia, Greg's new wife, wants to accept it or not. And I can understand her not wanting to accept it because it could make her feel some type of way. But the truth is the truth. I do believe that Greg really loved that woman. And I do believe that he still has love for her. I do. And what is wrong with that? Like, what is wrong with people to think that if a man was in love with a woman, like really loved this woman, and the woman decides she does not want to be in a relationship anymore and she files for divorce, that he just automatically falls out of love with her and he doesn't have any more love for her. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means he had to move on with his life. And that's what he did. It doesn't make Letitia any less than because she is the now wife, the wife after Quad. It's his it's his now. It doesn't take away from his past. And the way Quad did him, I do believe that he harbors some resentment and some anger. And he's probably still pissed about the fact that she took his sleep number mattress out of his house. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, this is not uncommon. I don't know why people try to make this out to be a thing. Well, girl, Letitia, she must be delusional. She thinks that Greg doesn't still love Quad. I'm sure he probably does still have love for her. That makes him a human being. That makes him someone that wasn't in it just to use her for what she had or what he could get or whatever. He really loved her. You don't just automatically, the love is gone. For Quad, yeah, because I don't believe the love was ever there. No, am I saying that Quad didn't have some feelings or care in her heart for him at some point in time? I'm not saying that. But listen, he's probably pissed that he made the wrong decision because he did call off the wedding. If you remember the first season of Married to Medicine, first episode, by the way, when they were all at Mariah's house, Mariah was having a party. I think it was like a birthday little gathering, right? And Dr. Jackie came there with her snooty ass. But anyway, if you recall, Toya was throwing digs at Quad because Greg called off the wedding. How a text message was sent out calling the wedding off, and then there were mugshots. They both got arrested, right? So again, I'm not saying that Greg wasn't physical, but clearly she was too because they both got arrested. He didn't get arrested for beating her down. They both got arrested. And I don't Quad doesn't strike me as a type to be somewhere cowered in the corner as he's beating down on her. I'm just not buying that. I'm not. And I'm also not saying, listen, not in her situation, but I'm also not saying that if a man is physically abusive, if the woman is fighting back, it doesn't mean that he wasn't abusive. So I'm not even saying that, but you know how it is. You always have to give preface to what you're saying and give context and all of these explanations for people because some people just they don't see the forest for the trees. I'm not saying that if a man is physically abusive, if a woman is trying to fight back, it means that he isn't being physically abusive. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I believe that Quad and Greg have had some fights. It wasn't him abusing her because Quad, look at her. Seriously. She was antagonizing him on that trip, on that little couples game thing that they were doing. She was giving answers. She and her new man, they were conspiring with each other to give these answers that were going to make them look like the winning couple, the winning team, if you will, when it comes to the love department. And okay, whatever, fine. Who freaking cares? Because the majority of the couples that were there, with the exception of Greg and his new wife, and then even Phaedra with the new man that she was seeing, they have been together. These couples have been together for forever. So they don't have to sit and try to prove their love or prove, all this other stuff. It was just for fun. It really was. But yeah, Quad was throwing digs, and Toya made a good point. Going back to Toya, when she made the point about how, yeah, it definitely was bothering Greg to hear this woman who had not had, when she was married to Dr. Gregory still, cut off sex with him for 3 years. And she's sitting here talking about how her and her new man gets it in so many times a day. It could bother him. And then talking about how she's just ready to bust it wide open and have a baby for this man. And Listen, the irony could be because it's just wrong. Quad knew that Dr. Gregory wanted to have a child, and she knew she did not want to have a child with him. I'm not saying that she did want to have a child back then, but she just didn't want to have it for him. But she knew she didn't want to have children, and I don't believe she really loved Dr. Gregory, so she also didn't see herself becoming a baby mama and having a child with a man that she did not see herself being with for the long haul. I do believe that. So I do believe that it was bothering Greg and it was getting under his skin. And he was just trying to be the bigger person and trying to ignore. So that's why he was trying to silence Letitia, just saying, look, don't even talk to her. Like, we're good. Don't even bother with it. But Quad is just foul. She was at this woman's bachelorette party on the last season show or episode when they had the bachelorette party. Toya had the bravery to tell her to get the F out, and I love that about her. Because it was messy. Like, why are you there? Why were you there? And now she's sitting there telling Tisha, I'm what you want to be. I'm what you want to be. Child, please. And I saw a little snippet of an interview where Letitia was basically saying that she does believe that Quad is jealous. And I'm not saying that Quad wants to be back with Dr. Gregory. I don't believe that. I don't believe she ever wanted to be with Dr. Gregory. But I also am saying that I do believe that Letitia has some valid points about Quad being jealous. Listen, it's like that thing where some people feel like because somebody seems to have it all, there's no way that they could be jealous of somebody else. And jealousy is a spirit that people embody. So, yeah, they absolutely can harbor some jealousy, and that's not uncommon. I do believe that Quad is mad that Gregory moved on. I do believe that. I'm not saying again that Quad wants him still. I don't believe she ever wanted him, but I do believe that she is harboring some resentment that he has moved on and he appears to be happy. So it's like to throw some things because I question the validity of the relationship that she has with this man. Clearly, he is very attractive, score for her. But has she been in this relationship as long as she is telling people now? And she had this party and she brings him out as like his coming out party, and she's telling people he paid for the whole thing, and he's done this and he's done that. I really hope it works out for Quad because I'm telling you, if that relationship doesn't work out, she's going to be looking real stupid, like for real. All right, so here's the thing. I am quite sure. I'm quite sure that this was like a moment that Quad was waiting for. It's like what Melody said on some seasons back from Love and Marriage Huntsville. People are looking for moments. I feel like Quad was waiting for this moment. She really wants to like rub in Greg's face that I can do better than you. One, on my own, and two, when I do decide to get a man, the man is going to look better than you, going to live better than you, going to, you know, the truth of the matter is not that it's really any of our business, but this is a relationship she chose to bring to the public. Why is it that he's like it looks like at least he's staying up in her house? I'm not saying he doesn't have a place of his own, but I don't care about so-called buying people cars because we already know when it comes to that what that could really be. And I don't need to go into the explanation of that, especially when he has a luxury rental car company. So, child, you could just be driving a car from his fleet. It doesn't mean that he bought you a Rolls Royce, okay? And these people in Atlanta with these Bentleys and Rolls Royces, it's like, shit, no, I mean, is a BMW too low class? a Benz? Like, my God, everything has to be extreme luxury. It's ridiculous. But I if I'm going to side with anybody, I have to be on the side of Dr. Gregory when it comes to this and his new wife Letitia. I don't know why she gets so much flack, and I get it. It looks awkward and weird last season with her talking about, her getting married. Now she get a little closer access to the money, and she's, said some awkward things and done some awkward things, but let's remember Heavenly was the one that coerced this woman to be a part of this show, okay? And I can recall before it was announced that Dr. Gregory and his new wife were going to be on the show, they were showing this relationship on social media and sharing it on. So it's just weird to me now to see Dr. Heavenly be so like boisterous with the chick and just so blunt with her and you know beat your ass like your mama should have and stuff like that. It's just like I I kind of have hats off to Letitia that she could even stand it, especially being that she actually is a working woman. She isn't just a kept person that was down in the dumps and Dr. Gregory picked her up and, brushing her off. She actually is a career woman. She is a person in the military. She works for the government. She still does. And I respect that. I actually have a whole lot of respect, even more so because I know that about her. So Quad can miss me with the, fabulosity and this fabulous lifestyle and all this other stuff because it's to me, it's questionable. I'm just saying it is. But her just being so buck with this woman and Dr. Gregory and talking about this is a narcissist. The narcissist is showcasing himself, or whatever the words were that she used. Clearly, she was speaking about herself. I don't know because in that moment, her head was kind of cut off in that scene. So maybe she was looking in a mirror and she saw herself in the mirror and she was just speaking about herself, saying the narcissist is showcasing himself. Because to me, she definitely comes across having some narc like ways. Quad, I just was sitting there shaking my head like, what in the world is this? Everybody else there was uncomfortable. And yeah, she had more than a few drinks, but and I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know if she really had that many drinks because you know how they do on these shows. They just made it I feel like they made it seem like she had all of these jugs of rum when she probably was just sipping on the same one the whole night and it just was giving her a little bit of a buzz and she was feeling herself and feeling what she was feeling and decided to say what she had to say when it just from the beginning, even before we got up to the night where the couples game was and they were having the drinks, just earlier in the day when they were doing the the race where it was paddle boarding versus the canoe or whatever the crap was that they were doing. Just when they were sitting there at the tables announcing the teams and what they were going to be doing, she was just team too much quad. She really was. It was just like a show off. I haven't really heard anybody use that term in a while, but yeah, it was just like a show off. I got my man, and I'm just going to show off until the wheels fall off with this. And I really hope the wheels stay on. I hope that there are no flats. I hope I hope no boots get put on those wheels. I hope that it continues to ride in style and she could just calm herself down because like I said, it could be a legitimate relationship, but it just looks a bit awkward and the way she was going at it. If you've moved on from this man so much, why are you talking about him so much? Why are you conversing with him? Why are you coming at his wife? Why did you come to her bachelorette party? Like why? Like Mariah said years ago, you're not even married to medicine, my love. You better go find you a chiropractor. But maybe she did find her chiropractor because I guess, from what she's saying, he's cracking the hell out of that back. And she's so happy about it. Just happy to announce to the world how many times a day and a week and a month they're getting it in. And I spare me the visuals. He is an attractive man, but I don't need all that. So I'm just saying the way she came across, I could understand why Dr. Gregory felt the way that he felt. I do believe that he still had love for her and he wanted the relationship. And he said something that it's not even profound, it's just a fact. If you are someone that decided to get married and you are serious about the relationship, you're serious about the marriage, you're serious about the person that you asked to marry you, which he did, you fight for your marriage. And he did. So yeah, Letitia did speak wrong when she said that, he filed for divorce or he left her or whatever it was that he said. No, he accepted it eventually, but I do believe that he wanted to fight for his marriage. And Quad was like, I do, I did, I'm done. She never wanted that. She wanted the leg up, she wanted the boost, she wanted the acclaim that came with being a doctor's wife. And she got that for a period of time until it wasn't useful for her anymore because she had already had her eyes set on what she could do outside of that relationship. And for her to sit there to tell Sweet Tea, my man would never speak to me like that. See, he yelling at you. My man would never speak to me like that. Do you all remember season 2 of Married to Medicine when she was doing her puppy couture line? And and Dr. Gregory went off on her because he felt like she was being frivolous and ridiculous. And he was talking about, there are people who have like real needs, going through real stuff in life. And I do believe that that was a real moment. I don't believe that he was doing that for the cameras. I don't believe he was doing that because he was just trying to be foul to Quad or to yell at her or to make her feel down or bad. We have to remember his field of work. Dr. G is a psychiatrist. He speaks to people on a regular, consistent basis. He actually has a practice. He does this for a living, has done it for many years. He hears and sees the real needs of people. So I do believe that, yeah, he's a doctor, but he lives modestly as a doctor versus being over the top and flamboyant and all of that stuff that he probably could do because he probably does have the money to do some of that if he wanted to. But he ain't living in the ghetto, but he's living in a nice home. The home is probably paid for if it isn't, like refinanced to invest in other things and stuff like that, because that's what people who have properties do. I do believe that he was having a real moment with Quad when he went off on her and he was yelling at her. He was. So for her to say, my man would never yell at me like that, child, bye. You've been there and done that. And you chose to leave and good. You did what you wanted to do. You got out of it. You did, you done. And now you got your new man. Cool. But to sit with this contentment, not contentment, she's content, I guess, with what she had going on at the moment. But to sit with, trying to contend back and forth with Letitia about, well, my man is this and your man is that, and I've been there and done that, and I'm what you want to be and whatever. It's like that to me is just as low class as when Quad was trying to imitate Letitia's voice and speak like a country bumpkin or whatever. And it's just like that stuff is so not cool, so immature. You've moved on. You say you're happy in this relationship. Listen, it's only so much a man is going to take when it comes to stuff like that. But listen, if it works for you, then keep on what you're doing. I mean, I guess right now he is so infatuated that he's buying her Rolls Royces. He's paying for these ridiculous parties and living at her house. Say, I don't know if he's living there, but just from what the show is showing, it looks like he's staying up in there. So, ciao, bye. But listen, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on it. I could really go in deeper, but I want to know what you guys think because I watched it and I was just like, this is a hot mess. And I kind of feel bad for Dr. Gregory. I do believe that he is in a relationship that he wants to be in. I don't believe he got duped or she tricked him or she got in good or whatever. And I've heard the rumors about her being a sugar baby or whatever. I don't believe, but I do believe that she is one of those females that prefer to be in a relationship with an older man there, and they feel that there's security in that. And there are a lot of females that think like that. But listen, I didn't really hear anybody speaking too much on Nene, even though Nene came to the Real Housewives of Atlanta already being in an established marriage with Greg. But clearly, he was much older than her when they got married, okay? And there are a lot of women that do that. And hey, it's a preference. Would it be mine? Probably not. But I'm married to, someone that I met in high school. So we're best friends. So I definitely couldn't see myself being with somebody who's like 30 years older than me. But I'm just saying there are some women that they're okay with that and that's actually what they prefer. Yeah, for the of course security wise, financial, and being able to take care of you and the household and that type of stuff. Of course, but also they want someone that's like more established in their maturity and they know like they want to settle down and they're not out here trying to figure things out and running around and screwing, everything that got legs and a hole in between it. So I get that. So I do feel some empathy in that moment for Dr. Gregory and for Letitia because it's awkward for her too. She is his new wife and he's got his feelings about all the other stuff that's going on. She's trying to be her husband's support as well as let Quad know, look, I'm not just going to sit and keep my mouth shut just because you feel like you have the upper hand or you have the upper lip and you know how to run it or whatever. No, I can speak too. I have a mouth of my own. I have my own feelings and this is what I feel like saying and this is what I'm going to say. But yeah, she wasn't in that relationship. So, but I don't believe he's like still in love with Quad and he would rather be with her over Letitia. I do believe that that ship has sailed, but I do believe that he does have some resentment because of how she treated him. And that's the gist of all I'm trying to say, guys. I do believe that he does have some feelings and feel some type of way about how she treated him in that marriage. And to see the fact that because of him, she has the opportunities that she has now. And yeah, some people could say, well, she got herself, to be able to stay and okay, fine. But had it not been for Mariah and Dr. Gregory, she would not have been there, period. She would not have been there. So I do believe that he did feel some type of way about being pushed out because unlike the housewife shows where these people just get to meeting each other on the set or on their locations of where they film and they are trying to become friendly, these people were actually friends. So, Mariah knew what she was doing when she put that show together. So it was like he kind of got iced out somewhat because of Quad. And it's like, hell, I'm the one that was the catalyst for her even being in this group. So why am I getting shut out? And I'm not saying that the men completely cut him off and stopped talking to him off of the camera, but we only saw maybe like one scene of them filming with him after she left. And that was when we learned about her going to the house and stealing his sleep number mattress when they were at one of the top golf places or whatever, wherever they were, where they were filming together and Dr. Gregory was there. They really were genuinely friends. And that's why it kind of pissed me off, not to make this topic about Dr. Heavenly and her husband, but that's why it kind of pissed me off when it came to Dr. Damon and how he did in his reaction to Dr. Gregory because he had valid feelings. It's like, why do these people keep trying to dismiss Dr. Gregory's feelings? Because what is it? Because he has a higher pitched voice than most of the men there? I don't get it. Is it because he was driving a Mini Cooper and when he drove off when him and Quad were still together and they had the wheels squealing, like why do they not give this man the respect that he deserves? You know what I mean? When Carrie, the woman that used to be on the show, the first season, and was like a friend of the second and third season or whatever it was, and she called Dr. G a psychologist, which she was trying to denigrate his license, his career, his education. And yeah, Quad did check her and say psychiatrist. It's an actual doctor. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor. So yeah, I am Not sure why they don't want to give this man the respect that I feel like he deserves, but he does deserve respect. Is he perfect? Hell no. None of those people are. Seriously. Are you kidding me? So I'm not here, saying he's perfect, but I do believe that they don't really give him the respect that he deserves and all of that stuff. So I just am here to say that Quad was wrong. Yeah, she was drunk, but she clearly was speaking how she was really feeling, and it was just ridiculous. So I just wanted to talk about that, guys. I want to know what you think, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.